This evening, I am going to compare how I would have traded today against one of our top traders at FTR, Sarah, who has been learning how to trade from scratch through my mentorship, and she has achieved 20% today, which is phenomenal. Now, this is not the first time. In fact, over the last 5 or 6 weeks, Sarah has achieved 30% in one week, 40% in another week, and 71% a couple of weeks ago. And one of the days she actually achieved 44.5% purely by following the mechanical rules that I provide to people within my strategies within FTR. I now share 5 of my strategies that I have taught myself. It's not available on YouTube. And if you want to join me, click the link below and see how you do. So I just really quickly wanted to show a little clip within Discord, which shows where Sarah had posted her trades. Don't worry, I also have access to Sarah's broker feed to prove that she is taking these trades. Within here, we post our wins, we post our losers, we post everything. Our thoughts, is anybody else getting into these trades? Can you see this coming up in the future? Anybody looking for a long, anyone looking for a short? And we try and help each other out during the day. Sometimes there'll be quiet periods because there's no trades to take, but we all know what we're looking for because we're following the same plan. Now, at the time of recording, the broker feed is not available until midnight, so I will reveal that when I interview Sarah to ask her exactly how she trades. Now, if you're not subscribed, definitely do subscribe. If you want to trade just the way that Sarah does and the guys within the group, click the link below. I am also going to be giving one of the entry strategies which we use. We use 5 different entry types, very, very mechanical. It means you can jump on the chart any time of the day and start trading and do it profitably. So without further ado, let's see how I'd have got on. I'm going to try to explain it the best I can as I go through the charts. Let's get stuck in. So just before I jump on a blank chart, I just want to take a quick look at Sarah's. These were basically copied from a screenshot that she put into the group, and then I checked it against her broker feed. She had 3 winners, 3 losers, and a trade that she missed. So all in all, a pretty good day. If she'd have got into this, she'd have ended up probably losing it anyway. So, pretty good luck not being at the chart at that time. This trade, a little bit different how I would have done it, but I'm going to get stuck in right now. But this was really good to see. I'm going to go through why her target was set where it was. And we'll go from there. Now, I'm going to remove my face from the screen so you can see the full chart. But this is my chart, nice and blank, and I'm going to draw everything out from scratch just so you can follow along and see how your trading strategy would have done today against what we did. So first things first, we need to draw out the Asian box. So I just go to the furthest point during Asia, which is about midnight through to 7 a.m. So high and the low. I'm just going to double check. Yep, that is the range of Asia. So there's a couple of things that you can look at. Asia's either trending or it's ranging. So if it was to be ranging, it would have done something like this. It may have started off in one of the corners and ended up going into the middle, but it didn't. So essentially what it did is it just trended straight up. That means that we could either get an extremely strong breakout, not usually that likely, or we could get a fake out. And a fake out is typically where you wick outside of the box, out of the zone, and then you close back within the range. And if you close back in the range, that means that you can set 2 trades if you want, one going long, one going short. But we have slightly different rules from what I've seen before, I guess. So I'm going to talk you through them. But this is what we have. We've got the London session starting pretty soon. So the London session will start at 7. Technically, it's the European session, but we start doing this trading format from 7 until 11. And if we don't get a breakout after 11 o'clock in the morning, there is no trading for the day. So if we do get a breakout, sweet, we can carry on trading. Doesn't matter if it turns into a fakeout or a breakout or whatever. There are 2 strategies here. There's the London breakout and the London fakeout. So let's just click along. This won't take too long, but I will talk through how I would be trading this. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to look at any key areas for targets. Now, I always tell people go up just one time frame. We use the 5-minute on pound US dollar for the breakout. So all what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally move along and see if there are any order blocks. So using some of the rules of standard FTR strategy, which are really standing out to me. And there aren't any which are nearby enough for me to say that makes sense. There's this one all the way up here. So in reality, I'd have to go based on price action and be knocked out by pullbacks. Now, if we go downwards on the chart, I want to see a 15-minute order block or at least a rebalance. So my eye is instantly getting drawn to over here. So let's just turn that into a 15-minute POI. I'd probably say cover that low. And then beyond that, there's this, which again is really ugly. I don't like it. I don't think it would stop any price action, to be honest with you. It's a liquidity type, which I've named in the group, just curved liquidity. It's really horrible. So price should shoot through here if it comes back. But we're going to set this as a target to go short, and targets to go long, it'll be price action based. And that can still be the case when you're going short as well. So a couple of tools which I use are just basically a high and a low tool. So one's boss, one's chock. If you guys don't know what chock is and boss is, just watch any of my backtesting videos and I go through it in a fair bit of detail. But within the group, I explain a hell of a lot more, along with live trading sessions and group calls and stuff. We really get a strong understanding of how we do boss and chock, which is again very different from SMC, standard SMC. Ours stats based, so not concepts, it's actually just stats based. So anyway, I'm going to move into the 7 o'clock candle. So this was the 7 a.m. candle pushed up. It's a body break. So I'd be looking to take a, not sure if I would actually, but this is the only viable area for me to potentially think about getting involved in the market. My high will move up and we'll just move along. So just doing this. We see that there's a trade here. So this is where Sarah had placed her trade, I think. So she'd got involved off of a pullback trade. So her entry was based off of this. Mine would not have been. Okay, so that's one discrepancy which I would have had. I would have had a second trade waiting, possibly, but I would be very keen, especially after this little push in the morning, I'd be very keen to see whether or not price was going to pull back in. So here we didn't break the high. So I'd have two trades on or two trades ready. So for me, I would have a trade ready at this breakout just to tag me into a trade. And at the moment, the stop loss would be here. So this would just be a stop order. So if price just went straight down, I wouldn't even be tagged into this. This would not be a winner. It wouldn't be a loser. It just wouldn't be a trade. It just wouldn't happen. So if price just goes boop, straight down, we're not tagged in. But if price goes straight up, we get tagged in with the moment, which is obviously a smarter way to trade than using standard pending orders. So using standard limit orders. Anyway, the trade that I would be taking is I would be looking at it like this. So in this instance, I'd be very skeptical to get into a short, but if I did, it would be straight off the close of that candle. And my stop loss would either be behind here or it would be just behind this candle plus 2 pipettes. And that's to make space for my spreads of my broker, which are usually 0.1 or 0.0. So I'll link the broker down below as well. But generally speaking, the reason behind this is that the body is engulfing, the wicks aren't, it is a bearish candle. It's gone lower, even though it's only with a wick. We have not broken the high. It's a good sign of a reversal because what's been happening the last few weeks is, well, the last few days especially, is just a very choppy, rangy market. So we'll get a strong push and then a strong pullback in. So if you're going to get a fake out of the Asian session, it normally happens between 7 and 8 in the morning. So prime time to do it. So Sarah's trade was, I think, off the entrance, straight off the low of this green candle. So when price came down on the white candle, she got tagged straight into that trade. Sorry, let me just make it a little bit bigger for everybody. Whereas with me, I would be looking to get involved straight off the close of that candle with my stop loss, preferably just 0.2 above. All right, so that would be my entry if I could do it. Now, your first target psychologically is just going to be this one because it's a rebalance. So that would still be 3R if I'd have got into that, which would be fairly decent. I wouldn't be too happy to take any trades if I'm only looking at 3R, but I do sometimes. There's the first one, which is only a 5-minute, but where did we say? So there was a 15. So there's a little 15 right there, which was the 5-minute. That's 8.89. Let me just make that easier to see. 8.89%. Or you could go all the way down, past here, and feed it down to this order block, which was there. So straight away, there's 34.28%. But if we play skeptical and think we're going to watch the market as it comes down here, you can always set your stops behind the nearest swing, which is a way to allow the market to take you out when it's tired out enough. So there's your maximum. So, oh, sorry, back to the 5 minute. Now, price has come down and it's come down again. I want to see price close back within this Asian range, preferably, or maybe even get chock. So I'm not placing another trade straight off just yet, although I'd be very tempted. This trade would still stand at the moment because we're on the pullback, and the maximum stop loss I would use is somewhere down there. Rules are very solid within the group, and obviously this trade would be no use at this stage now because we've come straight down. Anyway, price is pressing down very nicely. We've got chock with a wick, which means sweet fuck all for anyone who's not sure. And then we get the body. So essentially chock would now be up here, boss would be down here, which means that we're now okay to start looking for pullbacks to get involved with trades. So you'd still be holding on to this. That first signal was down here, which we were thinking potentially a little bit of a struggle. So I'm just going to mark that on to see what price does when we get there. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback of sorts. Anyway, price is pressed down again, and then we get the pullback. So we're starting to pull back. I would now be looking for a entry. I wouldn't be looking at this order block myself, but let's just keep on going. It's possibly going to be one which would hold, but it doesn't fit my criteria. We then get a body break, which is cool. I would then want an order block to try to get a trade off, but there isn't a viable order block. So we're just going to have to ignore that for now. And we've only wicked this, and then we've wicked again. So it is looking like it might reverse off of it. And then it goes. So it actually breaks this area and price continues to press down. We're now 8:30 in the morning, and I'd still only be entered into one trade. And that would be running at the moment, I don't know, it looks like about 8 hours, something like that. So again, we're just pressing down, which is good. I'm just waiting for a viable pullback. That's still not a pullback. Now it is. So if we get a break of the low, we're going to know what we want to do next. Oh, I beg your pardon, chock has moved. But this is only halfway up a leg, so I ignore this one. Plus, you don't have to follow boss and chock for this. It's just helpful. Also, the Asian box is helpful. We're in the range. So technically, trading the fake out, we should be looking for shorts. So we pushed up into that area, which I said looked like an order block. We'd have cleared it, gone into the white one. We pushed down with a wick, which means I would be looking to get involved with a trade straight off of the break of this. And the stop at the moment, oh, that looks a bit light. Stop at the moment would be about here. Again, the reason for the stops being in certain places, all explained in the strategy videos, which I've got on WOP. So feel free to apply if you'd like to join. I don't accept everybody, just so you're aware. There's a massive no dickheads policy, which is why I vet people. So you've actually got a good group, good community, not a dick swinging contest. Anyway, so I'd been tagged into this trade. I'd be using my maximum stop loss. And also seeing that we've broken it with a body, there's a different type of entry type which we would use now. But essentially, I would have another trade waiting here. So I know that this seems a little bit mad. Oh, well, you're just doubling up on positions because I'm holding on to this one, which is already up plus 10. So I don't care if I get 2 losses in a row. I could end up getting 2 trades plus this one going off. So I'm using the equity of this one to get into these technically. So this one's in already. So let me just move this over so we're aware that it's in. And then we get a body break off of there. I need to remember to move this because I don't really have them on my chart. And there's another trade good to take. All right, so this one is now not in my line of sight because it's not the most recent one, but this one is. Okay, so I'd be thinking to get short off of here. And we've got a body break off of this. So a bit tricky, but I would say that we need to line up to an order block, and that is the order block if I could get it. Pressing down, pull back, body break, here's the order block. So again, new trade to try and take off of here if I could get in. And so we're into that trade as well. So I'm going to add plus 0.2. So this will be 4.5. So we'd be tagged into this. Target will be down here. We're still pressing down, which is really good. It hasn't happened that often over the last couple of weeks, at least. It's been very rangy. Here we go. We get a retest of this area in case we missed it, but we'd have got in there anyway, so we'd be in this. Just looking again to try and get more scale in. This is the thing, you need to scale in with this strategy. So a wick break. So again, I'd just be looking to try and take the trade straight off of the break. I'll place the stop if we, yeah, there we go. So the stop would be going here plus 0.2. So that. target is only down here, 2.5, this would be pushing it. But if I'm in this many trades, you really don't care. You genuinely don't care. You just get into as many as you can, because this might just be our first target. Price can carry on going. So just get into as many as you can, which fit the plan. Anyway, let's keep on clicking. Move down, strong pull up, and a press down with a body. So there's now another trade to be placed, which again, first target is not fantastic. And we don't get a tag just yet, but everything else takes profit. Oh, and we were in this one. So getting to the point where Sarah had got to in the start of the video, I think she traded up to around about 4 o'clock. So we're going to keep on going. But at the moment, best case scenario with this one, 34R. And if I'd have placed it in the conservative place, which quite often I do, so I'm not going to try to bullshit anybody, I am usually quite aggressive, but very smart with my where I put the stop losses. So I'm just going to extend this by 2. So let's be realistic and say 22R with that trade. That one didn't trigger. We'd have got this one, which was 3 point, well, we call it 3.5. That one, call it 4.5. This one, 2.5. And then this one hasn't tagged yet. So what's that total? 22, 25.5, 29, no, 30. Yeah, 30.5. One thing that I know about Sarah with her trade today is that she said that she was aiming for 50. I don't know if that was, because like in her was 50, I want to try and get 50R or 50% on her account, which I know that she's doing, possibly a bit more. But what are they? Like, pretty good. Let's keep on going. Okay, so let's let the market out of these positions. So let's say that we didn't bank on these and we're just moving behind swings. Okay, so we're seeing all of these trades and we're trying to get into this one now. Okay, so we'd be in this trade and we'd be just tagged out. Okay, so for us, that would be a loss. I'll just put that in as a loss. And now I'm just waiting to see if, there we go, sorry, if the low breaks. And then we'd get tagged into another trade straight off the break of that. Okay, so my trade would be here. Okay, so we're this at the moment. Let's keep on going. All these would be moved behind here now. Okay, so they'd be moved right there. Obviously, this one's in a danger zone. I'm rid of that, and I'm gonna move this over just so it's a little bit clearer on the chart and see what's happened here. Okay, so we got a wick break again. So let's move this correctly. So this ended up being just a wick break. Then we pull back and a tag into another trade. Okay, so again, it's just showing you, like, you don't have to get into all of these. This is just, you can sit down at a chart at any point once we've had these, so, you can start trading. It's not particularly difficult. And we get another press down, then we get another potential entry. So at the moment, all the stops would be moved probably behind here. So this one will be about break even. This would be minus 0.5%. This one would be running at 2.64. This one about 4.8. That one at 3.5. And then we've got this one running at 22.36. Now, I made a fatal error in my trading last Wednesday, I want to say, and I moved my stop loss. Okay, big mistake. That was a 20R day, which I missed out on because I moved my stop loss. And one of the other guys also got 20R that day, which I'll do a critique on his trades as well. If you like this idea of critiquing the traders' trades and going through it rather than just doing back testing of my own, let me know. Like, literally stick that in the comments because I'm quite enjoying doing this. I'm quite competitive in I want to be the best. But in reality, like, I've got to give praise what's due because these guys are just blowing my mind. Sarah especially, I know how to trade. She had never even seen a chart before she spoke to me. So yeah, pretty awesome. Let's keep on going. We've got another, potential trade to get into here. So 4.3 as a stop. We're on the pullback still. We've got another trade possibly to get in here if we break the low. We're in this trade now, which is cool. Oh, and we're taken out. And we'd be stopped out of all of our trades because we've just got like a very low level. Okay, so this chalk line is, let's get rid of that. Chalk would have been here. There's a possibility that I may have thought about chalking here. And if so, just come back in hindsight, there was an area where we did temporarily kind of chalk. Yeah, about I think, and then we chop there. Then price went down to here. So yeah, there's possibility that I've got into a trade, but there's no viable order block. So I don't think I'd have taken another trade anyway. But anyway, we'd be not now at this level. So over here, there's 22.36. So I'm just gonna put this into that. So 22.36%. So, use whatever risk you want on your trades. Mine varies. I know varies. I know, some of the big they stick with 1%. Sometimes I'll drop down to like 0.5% if I'm not very good in myself. Sometimes, yeah, 0.25, 0.5, it'll vary. But speaking, you want to go with a set percentage if you can. 2.64. And then we got that was -1. This was, yeah, we into that, didn't we? So that would have been break even, we'll call it. This one was about break even as well in the end. Yeah, so that, break even, and a loss. So not too bad. Two cancel each other out, and this one, -1%. So I would have got, if I was trading today, which I wasn't, I was at a spinal appointment, getting my back turned really good. 2 losses, 4 wins. Just get a calculator out. 31.35%. So, that's what you could have. Sarah did phenomenally well to get 20%. That was the maximum that you could have got. But, in reality, you're going to make the trading. There's also slippage. So don't forget, I get slipped into positions quite often. And it's a real pain in the ass because you end up losing a little bit of your, you know, risk reward ratio. So the sort of the hindsight that I'd like 0.5 pips, 0.5 pips, then yeah, closer to Sarah's to be fair. So I think phenomenal. Well done, Sarah. I'm going to interview Sarah and I will literally share that as well. So again, if you want to watch it, subscribe. And if you want to trade like this and you want to have the set instructions, then just apply using the link below. I also give away one of my entry criterias anyway for free as a PDF download for you. It's 25 pages. It's pretty decent. Do that and you'll be onto a winner. Anyway, thanks everyone. Catch you in the next video.